And here we have Hosannah.
Yeah, I grew up here. I lived here as a child, had some quite interesting experiences. My family immigrated to New York City, where I was surrounded by bright lights, lots of money, and lots of power struggles, as well as great poverty, but as well as massive amounts of creativity. So obviously moving from one society or community to other is quite an upheaval. Takes a little bit of time to adapt. Art gave me the vehicle in order to be able to express myself, in order to be able to understand each other, in order to learn and understand about the city and learn and understand about myself. Now in regards to Hastings, I have family that's still here, and sometimes we could try to run from family, but we all got to come back at some point, right? So yeah, so it's been good and pleasurable to come and, spend time with my family members that are here and help in whatever way I can.
Thank you. And you have been a street artist working in the town and working with young people within the town since your return in 2009, around then. And there are many Hosannah pieces and collaborations around Hastings and St Leonard's and probably Bexhill too. Have you got a favourite? Is there one you want to talk about?
No.
No?
They're all my babies. They're all my babies. I don't. Some I appreciate for different reasons, but none do I put higher than the other, whether that's drawing on a piece of paper or a mural or anything else. But today I did think about it, and I put a little bit of thought into it in the context of Hastings. The one that I say would be the most significant at this platform would be the painting that was on the Tubman pub. And the reason why I bring up the Tubman pub is because there was nothing. There was no art. There was no public art in this town when I came. There was an S on top of the Source skate park. And they've done really well to expand, I must add. But there was an S on top, but there wasn't really anything, to inspire people, to feast people's eyes and minds and feast people's creativity, give the people the ability to go beyond, the magnolia walls that they're surrounded in. All of a sudden, we had an opportunity to produce a piece of art, and Paul, the pub owner, he supported us every step of the way. He was very open-minded. He saw what we were doing. At the time, we were running a community organization by the name of Inspire, where we were teaching a range of people from 4 years to, in the 80s, we were teaching we had a Saturday children's club where we would take children through the ranges of drawing, model making, writing, expression. We offered frame making, dancing, production of music, painting, life drawing. We had an art store that helped to support the work that we were doing. We offered murals and work, in schools, and we did quite a lot of professional work in that way as well. And we taught and we helped people develop their skills, oil painting, acrylic, so on and so forth. So in this case, Paul saw what we were doing, and Paul was like, look, I have a canvas. I want you to give my building an uplift. And and we got out there and we did it. And there was resistance. There was resistance from the council. The council really didn't want to see that change. In the matter of a couple weeks, we were able to get 3,000 signatures of people who were happy to see something go up. There was interviews by BBC, and when BBC would be asked, people were saying, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. And I'm not saying everybody thought that, because, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But what I can say is that many people felt that there was a place for creative expression on the walls of Hastings. And from that point, it's opened up a doorway. Just today, when we were driving here, I saw a piece of art that I had never seen before. So what I'm trying to say is that helped plant the seed for more creative expression to take place here. I think one of the reasons maybe why people didn't want the art to take place here was because they thought that the property prices would go down. But if you look at the property prices of Hastings, I think it went the other way.
Yeah. So inspiring the next generation is really important to you. What's your goal?
Here we're talking quite often about the creation of art, but what I'm talking about is the art of creativity. What I'm talking about is creating platforms for other people to have the ability to express themselves and create. So in regards to Progress Network, that's exactly what it is. We provide workshops for children. One of those workshops my wife runs, which is the Great Work Creativity Club. Children have the opportunity to learn different methods of art, drama, writing, reading, speech, and just being children. And we also run Sparks, St. Leonard's Sparks Football Club. And, teamwork, people come together, there's teamwork, there's exercise, there's laughter, there's fun, there's focus. And I also need to mention that St. Leonard's, I read a report, and St. Leonard's was considered the fourth most deprived ward in all of the UK. So, but what often happens is people quite often forget that in these places are people's homes, in these places are people's families, in these places, sometimes these big installations, they don't necessarily change the people's lives. So I decided to focus my energy on helping to give these people a voice because I know they have great potential. And these people are me, and I'm gonna do everything that I can in order to create creative places, whatever they need. If they're interested in, I can't even say because it's open. And so that's the aim right now. Progress Network, continue to build, continue to offer opportunities, continue to reach out to people, continue to listen, continue to be creative in methods of finding solutions. We can't solve every solution, but we can solve some of them by working together.
So from Inspire Academy to Progress Network, it's all part of the same thing. I'm quite curious because a couple of years ago, we tried to track you down to work on a project as part of Explore the Arch and A Town Explores a Book Festival, and you work with young people from St. Leonard's Academy. But it was hard to find you, and everyone was saying, oh, Aaron's gone off to do a mechanical engineering degree, and it was like you'd given up art and you were exploring something entirely other. So how does that fit in, and why did you come back to art?
I needed a challenge, really and truly. I felt that I had come to a plateau, like I said. Like, I felt that I had accomplished everything. I had traveled, doing international projects. I had worked for large companies. That was my aim, that was my objective. I reached it, done. I know how to paint. If I get a wall, give me an idea, style, we could work together. I could do it on my own, whatever. I'm comfortable with that, but that doesn't give me enough. That doesn't feed my soul. That doesn't give me enough. So just needed a new challenge in mechanical engineering. I always loved mathematics, and I always loved making stuff. And like, wait a second, things. If you think about it, at some stage, everything, this chair, this building that we're sitting in, the cars that move down the street, the way cities are constructed, at some point there's an artist involved in that process. And in ancient Egypt, the process of becoming an artist also involved engineering. It also involved developing multiple skills rather than what people kind of see it as sometimes, even though these artists here that I'm sitting with have proved otherwise, but quite often it's about, you pick up a paintbrush, you do this and that. But
I can really see those connections, and I was thinking of it last week. We had one of the Coastal Currents emerging artists, Kate Bruce, who makes giant structures. And even if you're coming from it from a purely artistic point of view, you have to learn how to build something which is going to be robust. And I saw a beautiful one of your installations which you kind of recreated a vaulted space, and it looked like it was just thin poles and a gauzy material to make this magical space. And again, so much of that is, it's architecture, isn't it? But it's engineering, and it's finding ways to change space. And there's something really exciting about working in 3 dimensions as well as doing the flat stuff on walls that are already there.
Definitely, as part of this journey, like to do with the engineering, what I've realized is engineers are quite rigid people. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be rigid, because if I drive over a bridge, I'm going to want somebody who has that type of approach. But what I can say is that creativity is useful in every scenario, because people should look at all abilities to come to the best possible solution, and there's nothing wrong with using creative means in order to find that. And people they're very linear in terms of their approach, and what I found is being able to work with other people and being able to use like the best of both worlds in order to use the creativity with the analytical side, that it can give some really, really good results, if you're just open-minded enough to allow it to happen. But obviously it requires a great deal of focus and detail and making it happen.
But really important for those disciplines to work together. And interestingly, again, it's like the way that you can be a visual artist and a musician, and you can use those things together, and you can learn and use the palettes from one discipline and transfer them into another. Yeah, fascinating. So Aaron, what's your next plan?
The thing is like, it's just like by creating creative environments, it allows people to express themselves, right? So my aim is to do that from my home, continue to do that from my home, to not rest on it, to continue to find ways in order to develop it, but also to do the same with community. I'm not going to say too much on that, but what I can say is I'm dedicated, and there's many dedicated people that I have that I'm working with, and things are starting to move. So there's some positive things in the future in terms of community development that I'm looking forward to sharing with people rather than just telling people.
That's really exciting. Thank you. Thank you very much, Aaron.